Fox 5 News, this is Good Day Atlanta at 8 a.m.
Back in session, Georgia lawmakers return to work this week. We're going to take a closer look at some of the big issues they're expected to tackle this season.
Plus, Democrats push to cut off funding for ICE after the deadly shooting in Minnesota. But party leaders are pumping the brakes, fearing another government shutdown.
Good morning, everyone. Good Monday morning. Welcome to Good Day Atlanta at 8. I'm Buck Lanford.
And I'm Alex Whitler. Thank you so much for starting another work week off with us. Good to be here with you.
Yeah, a little chilly to the start, though.
A little, yeah. I'll say. So let's head on over to Fox 5 Storm Team meteorologist Joanne Feldman, who is tracking some purple and blue conditions. When I see that screen behind you, I know the deal.
That just looks cold, right? Just think back a few days ago, we were in the 70s. We were close to breaking records. And now, well, January feeling like January. This is the difference just since yesterday. Yesterday was already quite chilly, but the numbers are down around 15 degrees or so. I've got both temperature and wind chill plotted on here. Now, you're going to notice in some instances those numbers are exactly the same because the wind is calm. And overall, the winds will be pretty light today, but still there has been enough of a breeze to take that cold 28 in Atlanta, make it feel like 22. There are even some wind chill values into the teens farther north, but the warm up today just slow and steady. 44 degrees at noon. We'll hit a high of 50 with mostly sunny skies, and then we're looking ahead to the middle of the week and a possible brush with wintry weather. I'll show you who might see some snowflakes flying by Wednesday evening coming up for you in just a few minutes. Natalie?
Joanne, thank you. We have a crash involving a dump truck in Duluth this morning on Pleasant Hill Road westbound at Old Norcross Road. 2 left lanes are still blocked here. It's slowing down your ride just a little bit, but you still have that right lane open to pass through. And the big 3, those major interstates, your heaviest out of Alpharetta on 400 from Old Milton to the top end, about 38 minutes. 23 on 75 from Wade Green to the perimeter. And a red ride through Gwinnett on 85 from Highway 316 to 285, about 16 minutes. Buck?
All right, Natalie, thank you. 8:02 now, your time. Metro Atlanta protests continue to spread after the killing of Renee Good by an ICE agent in Minneapolis. This weekend, hundreds took part in marches and rallies in downtown, Midtown, Lawrenceville, and in Marietta.
And Good Day's Mark Teichner has this developing story for us. He's live from the 17th Street Bridge, where one of those protests took place. Mark, good morning.
Yeah, good morning to both of you. And these protest organizers say they are going to keep up this effort until they see that ICE agent criminally charged and they see a scale back on the Trump administration's immigration enforcement policy. Sunday afternoon, protesters make noise and hold signs on Midtown Atlanta's 17th Street Bridge that can be seen by drivers on the highway below. They're upset over the Minnesota killing of Renee Nicole Good at the hands of an ICE agent, as well as the Trump administration's immigration enforcement and foreign policy.
I think the unrest we're seeing right now, it's swelling all over the United States. We see protests not just here in Atlanta. This movement is only growing.
Hours later, another large group of protesters marched in downtown Atlanta, going about a mile from Hurt Park on the Georgia State campus to the Atlanta ICE field office.
It's unbelievable what's happening today, and it needs to stop. And I'm encouraged so many people showed up today at the last moment.
Anti-ICE protests in both Marietta and Lawrenceville also drew dozens of people.
We need to take a stand. We need to stand up for the principles this country was founded on.
Protesters hope Good's death, which Trump officials call an act of self-defense, brings awareness to what they believe is an out-of-control ICE enforcement policy that makes the country less safe.
This seems like a galvanizing point because it's so obvious because there's all this video of that this was a shooting of an unarmed person who was simply driving away.
So far, all of these protests, the ones that took place Sunday and the days before that here in the metro area, have been peaceful and no arrests have taken place. Reporting live from the 17th Street Bridge, I'm Mark Teichner for Good Day Atlanta.
All right, Mark, thank you. Well, there are new calls to defund ICE after an agent in Minneapolis shot and killed a woman. It has some progressives calling for Congress to defund the federal law enforcement agency, which is something top Democratic leaders appear reluctant to do. Here's Fox's Chad Pergram to explain.
Liberal Democrats are apoplectic about ICE.
The child has lost her mom. And y'all want to pretend that it is okay I am asking if there is anyone that will stand for the very people that elected us and sent us to Congress.
Control of the federal purse strings is the ultimate congressional power. Some progressives are so enraged that they want to slash funding for ICE or even shut down the government.
We should use every means at our disposal to do it, including the appropriations process. Yeah.
Republicans would balk at that move from the left.
That would be weapons grade stupid, but I don't put anything past them. So maybe they've not learned anything from the shutdown, which was dumb.
Lawmakers plan to simply renew all DHS money later this month. But House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries pivoted when pressed on hamstringing ICE.
Our focus right now in terms of the appropriations bill are getting the 3 bills that are going to be on the floor today over the finish line, and then we'll turn to the Homeland Security.
But why not use up your just to get in a fight with ICE or over foreign operations?
No, what I'm focused on right now, Chad, is to make life better for the American people.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer dodged questions too.
I have lots of problems with ICE.
Why is there resistance to use the appropriations process either for Venezuela or now certainly for ICE?
That's right.
I mean, are you afraid of another government shutdown?
But one progressive understands the reluctance of Democratic leaders to cut off ICE money.
They're responsible for leading an entire caucus that elects members from across the country, so they're in a different position.
Fox is told that top Democrats don't want to upset a fragile spending agreement and spark another shutdown later this month. On Capitol Hill, Chad Pergram, Fox News.
It's 8:07 now, and 3 inmates are dead following a fight at Washington State Prison in Davisboro. That's a little over 2 hours southeast of Atlanta and about an hour southwest of Augusta. The sheriff says inmates were fighting, which caused the prison to go on lockdown. In addition to the 3 inmates who died, 13 inmates were taken to the hospital for treatment, and 1 guard was hurt. Right now, it's not clear what led up to that violence.
In Gwinnett County, 1 person is dead following a house fire in Lilburn. Fire crews were called to a 2-story home on Sandra Drive just after 6:30 last night with reports that people were still inside. Firefighters say a man helped rescue his mother from the home and then went back inside to save the family dog. He was pulled from the home and rushed to the hospital where he died from smoke inhalation. The cause of that fire remains under investigation. 1 person was shot, 2 others were grazed by bullets at the East Point MARTA station on Sunday afternoon. This happened in the bus loop area right outside the station. All 3 victims are expected to be okay. Also in East Point, a woman was shot and killed at a funeral home. Police say 55-year-old Ina Chambers was attending a relative's wake when multiple shooters opened fire. Investigators are now searching for suspects and say anyone with any information is urged to come forward.
That is just awful news. It's 8:08 now, and the 2026 legislative session is shaping up to be a significant one with several proposals and debates on major issues impacting residents. A primary focus this year will be tax relief. Good Day's Caitlin Pratt is live at the state capitol with a closer look at the session's top priorities. Caitlin, good morning.
Hi, good morning to you. Yes, we're getting closer to go time at the Capitol behind me here, and the buzzword of this session, affordability. The annual Wild Hog Supper offering a preview of what's on the table for Georgia lawmakers as they resume their bill-passing business at the state capitol. Affordability of life in Georgia, the main course. Lawmakers are expected to focus on tax relief proposals to help Peach State families. Each chamber eyeing a different path. The House Speaker is proposing a phased approach to eliminate property taxes, while Senate Republicans plan to introduce a bill eliminating the state income tax.
There's got to be some compromise. Not everybody's going to be able to get everything that they want. But at the end of the day, I do think by the end of session, we will have lowered the tax burden on Georgia's families.
Some other bills anticipated under the Gold Dome. One focused on data center tax incentives, balancing economic development with infrastructure and utility concerns as data centers expand across the state. Also, banning cell phones in high schools. Legislation barring electronic devices for younger students, K through 8th grade, passed last year. And legislation focused on safe gun storage. After remaining in committee last year, lawmakers will decide this session whether to advance a measure regarding firearm storage and tax credits on safety devices. Policy debate expected to be heightened by the fact several members of the General Assembly are running for higher office.
I think there's going to be a lot of jockeying for airtime. You're going to see a lot of people going to the well speaking on issues that they haven't spoken on in the past. But I do believe that it's going to be a very competitive legislative session.
Competitive, and when you think of the time of it all, short, 40 days. This all starts today and ends beginning of April. So their work cut out ahead of them. That's the latest here live this morning near the Capitol. I'm Caitlin Pratt for Good Day Atlanta.
All right, Caitlin, thank you. Well, new this morning, a former Macon-Bibb County commissioner is the latest to launch a campaign to become the next lieutenant governor of Georgia. In a video, Democrat Seth Clark pledged to lower the cost of living for working families and bring a compassion-driven approach to state government. He joined State Senator Josh McLaurin and accountant Richard Wright on the Democratic ballot, and a long list of Republicans, including David Gregg, Greg Dolezal, Steve Gooch, John F. Kennedy, and Brenda Nelson Porter. Takasha Swan, as the list keeps going here, Blake Tillery and Jerry Timms. All right, a new era begins in the city of East Point. Mayor Keisha Chapman and 2 newly elected council members were officially sworn in this weekend. An inauguration ceremony took place at Tri-Cities High School. Mayor Chapman has been an active civic leader in East Point for the past 9 years, recently serving on the Planning and Zoning Commission. One newly elected council member says she's looking forward to working with Mayor Chapman to help push the city of East Point forward.
Is our mayor and council's inauguration, and we're here just to celebrate moving the city forward. I'm looking forward to working with the new council members that are here and the council, the body as a whole, just to work to move the city forward.
And that celebration featured remarks from several city leaders.
Well, your time is now just about 8:12, and still to come this hour on Good Day Atlanta, there's a noticeable change at the Smithsonian's National Portrait Gallery in Washington, D.C. We've got the details on what's been left out. Also ahead.